Hey, what is up, everybody? Good evening, good evening, good evening. I am excited about this evening again, like I am every Tuesday, but I want to thank you all for joining me again. This is your first time at the channel, and you guys don't know who I am. My name is Chris Souders, Slunger Cat Outdoors. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And like I said, if this is your first time, please don't make it your last. If you like what we're doing, we put out new videos each and every week. We also do this show every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, called Tackle Talk Tuesday. So make sure you're leaving your questions in the comments. I got the laptop going tonight because I figure there's going to be several questions rolling about this topic. This is has been kind of a heated topic in social media and different aspects, but it's been a very high requested topic from the viewers, from you all. So I wanted to make sure that I'd done my due diligence and, got as much information about this as I possibly could. So I'm really excited about what we're going to be going over tonight. So to start with, tonight we're going to be talking about sponsorships. One of the highest requested questions that I get is, how do I get a sponsor? What is kind of the requirements of sponsorship? What can I expect from these companies? A lot of the questions are more so that, what can I expect from these companies? What are they going to give me? I haven't really heard a whole lot going the other way of, what I need to be doing for this, for these companies. So, as you can see, I'm wearing my tournament jersey. These companies are great sponsors of mine. People that I promote greatly, I sacrifice a lot for, and in return, they treat me very well. Most of these companies I've been with for several years, or a few years, and that makes a huge difference. So the good thing about this being live is it can be real, it can be raw, and the interaction that I get with you guys is absolutely great, and I love it. Some people are probably gonna give a thumbs down tonight because I'm about to be honest with a bunch of people, and that's okay. Sometimes these these conversations that we have to have are real. Some people don't like to have them. I don't always like to have them myself, but I feel like as a huge promoter of the industry and somebody that has good sponsors myself, has a good following, not only do I need to be a good influencer, but I should also tell somebody and tell people, hey, don't expect this, or maybe we need to go down a different path, or maybe we need to go a different way. So tonight may not be all cupcakes and angels, but we're going to get down to business, and we're going to absolutely cover a lot of information. So one thing I'm excited about tonight is whenever I started doing this, I reached out to a few companies. Some were sponsors of mine, some were direct competitors of sponsors of mine, and I wanted to get not just a few of the sponsors of mine, their reactions and their thoughts, but also people that I may not work with. Okay, just to be able to get maybe an even more honest answer from them. And greatly enough, it wasn't the direct exact answers that I got from each one of them, but a lot of them were definitely really similar and really close in what they expected and what they were willing to give for those expectations. Now, keep in mind, we're not really going to go over what you're going to get out of those expectations, because that is something that you and that company or individual personally would have to decide on. So to start with, sponsorships. How do we approach them? What can we expect out of them? So I wrote down some notes, as always. We need, as if we want to be, so I'm going to start with this. If we want to be a sponsored angler, okay, I had to step back and think of this my own self. when you guys ask me, how do I get sponsors? So I stepped back and I started thinking about, when I first decided that that's the route I wanted to go. Before I ever, decided to, I was already starting to be successful in fishing. Um, not being winning every tournament, not winning just one tournament, but being successful and being, uh, on that podium or in the top 10 on a consecutive basis. And that means so much to them that, that's just yourself. That may not mean a whole lot to the company, but to the people that follow you and the people that watch you, that gives you credibility that, hey, this guy obviously knows, a little bit at least about what he's doing. And that makes a lot. So, I want you guys to understand, don't go straight out and say, hey, I'm going to fish next year and I want to try to get sponsors. Don't do that. Okay? That is absolutely the wrong thing, in my opinion, to do. Go out and fish. Go out and don't worry about whether I got 5 sponsors or 10 sponsors. Don't worry about trying to get more sponsors than somebody else. Don't worry about, looking better or prettier than somebody else, okay? Or trying to get, be worried about what they have or what they're doing. Fish. Learn, make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you know how you're doing it. Be nice to people. Be kind. Just be a good promoter of the sport, first and foremost. Before you ever think, hey, I want to approach Diachi hooks, for instance. Before I ever think about, I want, those hooks, I just want to go fish, okay? And show the people that do follow me, because look, I will give you an instance. If I'm fishing tournaments, if I see somebody, if I'm fishing a whole tournament trail in the whole year, for instance, I'm starting out the year, I'm fishing, I'm grinding, I'm going to tournaments, and I see somebody coming in, and they're always on social media about trying to get more sponsors, and I never really see them at the boat ramp. I never really see them putting in the work that it takes to win those tournaments or to be in that top. I'm not saying this in a cocky or arrogant way, but those are not the guys that I worry about, okay? The people that I worry about that, I feel like, hey, these are the guys that can make it in this, industry. These are the guys that are willing to put in the work, are the ones they're the ones that are at the boat ramp before me. They're the ones, their truck and trailer still at the boat ramp whenever I leave, if I leave. They're going on 3 hours of sleep. Maybe they sleep at the boat ramps, not because they can't afford a hotel, but because they want to be on the water as much as they can. In the fishing tournament scene, those are the people I worry about. Every second that they can be on that water, they can, because they're worried about putting fishing first instead of worrying about, hey, can I get another sponsor? How do I get another sponsor? Okay, so do that first. Put in the hard work. Be a good, sportsman of the industry. Be a good figure for people to follow and look up to, and then, and only then, branch out and decide that, hey, I've got a little bit of credibility, and I want to start searching for sponsors or sharing my information of these products that I've been using for, say, a year or so to other anglers, and get them to understand, hey, this was a good rod, or this is a really good hook, this is good terminal tackle, good planer boards, whatever it may be. Okay, as you're building your credibility up, for instance, you go to Wheeler Lake, you do really good on Wheeler Lake. You're not sponsored by a planer board company, but maybe you use a planer board, okay, down there. Even though that company is not sponsoring you, you promote them, okay? And then whenever they see that, because they notice it, okay, maybe not the direct company, but somebody else that maybe is sponsored by them or talks to them on a regular basis may see that, and it's going to stick in their head that you're promoting a product that you already have confidence in, and then whenever it does come time and you send that company a resume, maybe one of their pro staff members that's already on there remembers, hey, that's the guy that was at the boat ramp whenever I was there. That's the guy that was always taken out, after me. He was leaving the hotel first. He was, he was he was getting fresh bait every chance he could. He was doing every single minute that he possibly could to, beat me and beat everybody else in that tournament. And he also was a good sport whenever he lost, because let's face it, fishing is 90% losing. If I done a percentage of the tournaments I fished, versus the tournaments I won, that percentage would be very low. Okay, so we have to be humble. Catfish especially, but fishing period is a humble sport, and 9 times out of 10, you're not going to win. You're not going to lose, but the actions that we show to other people and to other anglers whenever we don't win, whenever we are at our worst, and believe me, I've been there. Wheeler Lake is my arch enemy. One day I'll go down there and she'll treat me like gold. The next day I'll come in with 5 pounds. And I done that a couple years ago at Wheeler Lake. I come in with literally 5 pounds. I had 2 fish, 2 blue cats that weighed 5.5 pounds. But I was humble. It was nobody's fault but my own that I couldn't catch those fish. Okay? I congratulated the people that won. I talked to the people that wanted to talk to me and learn. Even though I didn't do good, I still was able to, help somebody or make somebody's day. And like I said, maybe not the company itself will see that, but somebody that represents that company will see it. And whenever you do turn your resume in to that company and they ask those staff members, hey, does anybody know, this guy? They'll say, yeah, absolutely. And they'll give you good recommendation, and then that's whenever you'll be able to come aboard and already have a positive influence on that company. Okay. So that's my ramble on, for the start of it. So like I said before, I reached out to some companies and had them give me kind of what their 5 basic, or their 5 things that they look for in somebody whenever they are approached by them for sponsorship. Okay, and this is no direct order nor direct company that I'm affiliated with or anything. Like I said, this is answers from companies that are direct competitors or companies that I am sponsored by, and some that I'm sponsored by as well. So it's very interesting to see, even though they give kind of the similar answers. So to start with, like we talked about, be able to fish. I mean, that's kind of a given, right? You have to be able to do it. You have to have some sort of credibility. Okay. Now, you don't always have to win a tournament, like I said before, but being in that top really helps. Being in that higher percentage consistently helps a lot with your credibility, and people notice that, hey, your name is always at the top. Okay, this does not mean just win one tournament. Winning one tournament is great, and it's successful for that fisherman, but it's not sustainable. It does not mean that you can go a full season, from East Coast to Arkansas, Alabama, north, south, everywhere you go, whether it's a small trail or big trail, and be consistent on where you place and where you finish within that trail. Okay. Be dependable. Be organized. If you tell these companies that, hey, I'm going to be at this show or this expo, or I'm fishing this tournament or doing this tackle show, don't leave them hanging. Okay, make sure you do what you say you're going to do for them. Just tear that out so it makes it easier. Stand out. Stand out from the crowd. Okay. Like I mentioned to start with, be that person that is first at the boat ramps. First to leave the hotels, last back into the hotels. You're the last one on the water. You try to go the extra mile for that company. You try to figure out ways to promote their product in a new way, more so than just wearing their logo on your jersey. This logo on this jersey probably maybe sells 1% of any company that is on here. Okay, if I'm fishing a tournament, the people that I'm fishing against, 9 times out of 10 already have it in their head what they are confident in using, and they don't. I mean, as far as product, don't care what I'm using. They may care where I'm at and how I'm fishing, but as far as what I'm using, as far as hooks and terminal tackle and rods, they have it in their head, and it's hard to sell or change somebody's opinion if they are a good tournament fisherman. Okay, but be professional, be drama free. Period. That is drama is no good for nobody. Nobody wins. At the end of the day, when you get on social media and you get involved in the drama that's on there, no company wants to be part of that. No company on this jersey would be happy with me getting on social media in a drama way, whether it be starting it, trying to settle it, or anything. Just stay out of it. Stay away from it. Stay as positive as you can be. Okay. With that being said, social media presence means a lot. It's not just social media presence. It's not, hey, how many followers or friends do I have on Facebook? It's, you got Instagram, you got Twitter, you have all these different social media platforms that you can use as your benefit. And in today's world, today's market, that is, sadly, that is the highest percentage and easiest advertising way we have. Okay, cost effective versus what they're gonna get out of it. Social media is the best way to go. Now, does that mean that's all we do? No. We need to be active at boat ramps. We need to be when people come approach us, we need to be approachable. We need to be professional, whether we're having a bad day or not. Remember, we need to. This is a job, okay, and we need to approach it as a job, and think of it as if we are working that job every time we're on that water, because we are. If somebody comes up to you at a boat ramp and wants to take 10, 20, 30 minutes of your time, give it to them. Whether you're in a hurry or not, you never know how those 10 or 15 minutes not only may help that person in catching fish, but also just help that person in their daily life. Okay, they may just need to hear some encouraging words, and you need to be that person that is willing to do that, no matter what. Now, there are some instances where maybe you need to get to a weigh-in, maybe you need to, you're in a situation where you have to go, and you can tell them that, and I'm sure they will agree. You understand. This is something I see a lot. As a tournament fisherman traveling all over, I get approached at dams catching bait, at tackle shops. I always try to make it a point, if I'm in an area, to stop at a local tackle shop and see what they got. It might be a tackle shop that these companies can get their products in, and if that is where going that extra mile stands out, to these companies. Just one tackle shop can mean a lot to a small company. So make sure you're doing that as well. But like I said, social media is a huge percentage of the way we want to do things, but we don't want to brag. Okay, I don't want to. If Offshore Tackle sends me planer boards, me getting on there and saying, look what, look what they sent me. Pat me on the back. That's not, to me, that's not the way to sell things, okay? You want to find good ways to talk about how these are helping you, and not only helping you, but how they could help others in situations that maybe they may not think about, okay? So we have to be that. We don't want to be that person on social media that is constantly patting ourselves on the back because we're getting something, for a product from somebody. We are no better. I am no better than any single person watching this show tonight. And I want you guys to know that. No matter, there's a lot of talk out there about, having a fancy boat or, jersey and things like that. That makes me no better than any single person watching this show. Period. I have the utmost respect and love for everybody that watches this show. And, we don't want to be that person. That person is not going to be a good spokesperson for a company. Okay? So use that as a guide whenever you go to get on social media, to be able to, just be a good guide, be a good spokesperson, whether it be for whatever company that you're going to try, remember, try to approach. Let's see. Along with social media, in that social media presence, like I was saying, it's not about how many followers you have, how many friends you have on. It's your interaction. Are these people just following you for drama reasons or something like that, or do they actually follow you because you have something that you are able to teach them? Okay, which goes into our next thing. With being approachable, you need to be the type of person that is willing to sit down and teach somebody something about the products that you're promoting or wanting to promote. Okay, you have to have knowledge of that product. If somebody comes up to you, at a boat ramp and says, "Hey, what about these planter boards do you like? What about these planter boards makes them better than these planter boards?" Okay, and you have to be able to have that knowledge to be able to right then and there tell them, and that should be easy. If you are already fishing with that product and you have confidence with that product, then you should already have the knowledge. You should already have the ability, as long as you are approachable and you're willing to stand there and tell those people and teach those people, how you're using it, why you're using it, and where you're using it, then you're going to be able to be successful with that company. Okay, and that is what you want to do. You want to be. That's the thing that's going to stand out to that company is whenever your name is brought up, is it positive or negative in the whole industry? Okay. Let's see. So, probably the most important thing when it comes to, trying to get sponsorships, is what is in return for them. Okay. Like I've said, and this is kind of repetitive. If you're going to a company and you have to approach it like a job, okay, it's a job interview at first, and the one thing that they need to know, that they have to know, is if they give you this amount, what amount are they getting back, and how are they going to get it back? Okay, which goes into the planning and being organized. You need to have all that stuff ahead of time. Okay, way before you ever decide to approach a company, you need to have your knowledge, your organization, and a good plan to be able to tell them how and where and when they're going to get their money back. I am very frugal. You guys know that. You guys have seen that. I'm as frugal as I possibly can be. As a a business person myself, I have to know before I spend an investment into something how that investment is going to be back to me. And if you don't have that plan starting with, no company is even going to, you know, think about taking you on. They ask you that specific question of what is your plan to return my money back to me? How are you going to sell products? How are you going to promote them? Then, if you don't have the answer to that right then and there, you've lost it. Okay? So make sure you have all these things ahead of time before you ever start talking to anybody, whether it be a small company or big company. Okay? Now, next we're going to talk about resumes and, you know, what a resume should look like, how it should be laid out. It's simple, but you want to be professional with it. Okay? But before we get into that, that resume thing, the one thing that I want to talk about is no matter what company it is that you're getting ready to try to send this resume to, we need to, one, make sure that we use it. Okay? If you're somebody that is going after companies that you don't even use, how is that possible? Unless it's a excuse me. Unless it is some sort of financial sponsor, of some sort like that. If it is a product type sponsor, whether it be rods, hooks, boats, it doesn't matter what it is, okay? That should be a product that you're already using, that you've been using, that you have high confidence in, you have knowledge about, you're sharing with others already, okay? This is stuff that you should already be doing. If you go after a company that is, and they do some due diligence and look back at their order history, at, hey, who is this guy? And they see that, one, you don't even use their product, you don't even know nothing about their product. How would you feel giving your money to somebody like that? I wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't. And I absolutely am not, not going to expect them to. Okay? So make sure that you're going after the sponsors, and if it's something you truly feel confident in, for instance, Yachi hooks. I could get approached by Trocar tomorrow with a, and I know somebody's going to get on here and say he's lying. There ain't no way. But I could get approached tomorrow by Trocar saying that they would, free ride me for a year if I used their hooks and only their hooks. Guess what? No, I wouldn't. And I know somebody's going to get on here and somebody's going to say he's lying. But trust me, I wouldn't. Why? Because these hooks have carried me through a lot. I have 100% trust in these hooks, no matter what, okay? That means that I can sell those hooks easily. I don't have to lie to somebody, and they treat me fine as it is, okay? If I was to get a pack of Trocars and bring one to show and try to tell you guys how good they are, I'd be lying. And people in today's world, social media and everything, they'll see through that. They'll see through that. Companies see through that, and they don't want that, okay? You have to be trustworthy to the company, be, reliable for the company, okay? So, absolutely, Brian Melinda Folsom, it is absolutely not what the company can do for you. It's what you can do for the company and how you can grow that company, okay? So, next, I've had some questions on, what a resume should look like. I was going to print mine off and just show you guys how it did it, but you guys really wouldn't be able to see it very well. So I figured I would just kind of go through it and, talk a little bit about each section. You don't want a resume to be super long. You want it to be kind of compact, nice, neat, clean, to the point, okay? Like I said before, these companies want to know who you are, where you've been, where you're going, and how we can make our money back. You stick to those things and make it professional, make it clean. It's going to be a good professional resume. Okay, and there's a lot of if you do a Google search, you can get templates easily available online, and it's just plug and play. You don't want to go overboard with the pictures. A few pictures. Obviously, if you're a catfishing person and you're trying to get a sponsorship from a catfishing industry, you need to be able to catch fish. Okay, so few pictures, let them know who you are, show them that good smile, and that's about all you need to do. But so resume needs to be a history of you, your successes, where you've come from and where you're at now, whether it be your education, your tournament wins. And whenever we do tournament wins, we don't want to go down through a list of 200 tournaments, each tournament where you've placed and things like that, abbreviate it a little bit, and we're going to do like the last season. I would put for the resumes I sent in this year would have my plan for 2019, and then my successes for what happened in 2018. So I would be placed first in so many tournaments. It was in the top 5 in so many tournaments, top 10 in so many tournaments. Okay, and that pretty much would be enough for that. If I had major wins or major finishes and really major tournaments, I would highlight those that way that they would see those directly. Let's see, a good bio. You need to have a good bio that highlights you as a person, okay, and what you're about. You let them have a little bit of information of who you are and where you come from, type of thing, okay. Your plan for the next year, this is where the organization comes into play, and being very good and organized. List of tournaments, list of seminars you plan on doing, shows, etc. All that stuff in there. Next would be, your social media platform. Like I said, social media is a huge basis of how companies grade you as far as, your ability to sell things. Whether you can sell stuff person to person or not, it's how many people can you reach through your social media platforms. So, go down through, let them know exactly, how many followers you have on each level. Include, if you have a YouTube channel, your Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff, okay? Let them know if you do live shows, anything specific like that you do, don't let that stuff lay to the side. Let them know that you have the ability to get in front of a camera and talk. You have the ability to sell stuff, whether it be on camera or in person. And you want to let them know that you do that stuff on a regular basis, okay? That helps them, whether it be for promotions or, giving you things to give away free type deals. Those little things not only help you as a sponsored angler, but the company getting their product in front of other people. And remember, whenever we say in front of other people, we're not talking about other tournament anglers. We're talking about, people that are coming into the industry. That's where these companies make their money. It's not, once again, it's not other tournament anglers. It's, getting kids involved in fishing. It's getting new anglers into the industry, into the fishing period. That is where, the industry grows, whether it be, catfishing, bluegill, bass, whatever. We have to set the base for, our future, before we can be successful where we're at now. Okay. So, and then last but not least, let them know directly how you're going to promote them and how you predict that you're going to be able to grow their business and promote their products. Okay. And do not sell yourself short. Okay. So, now, last but not least, before we hop off here, The whole part of, is it worth it? Okay. Now, through this whole thing, I hope you guys have kind of picked up on this. I have stressed the fact that if you are fishing with products that you already have confidence in, that you're already promoting, okay, and then you go to a company, this is the first time they've ever met you. This is the first time that they ever know who you are. You could have won, a whole tournament trail, okay, but this is the first time that they have ever seen you or heard of you. Okay, they talked to a few guys. You got a good reputation. They offer you 10% off of something that you're going to buy anyway because you have confidence in it. There's nothing disrespectful about that. Okay, and we have to understand that from a business standpoint, that this is the company that is, taking a chance on you the first year. You have to, in any business, in any job, you have to start, low and work your way up. That's part of it. Now, there may be a company approach you with a better deal than that, and that's great. That's great when that happens. And if that is a company that you have confidence in and you use it, then obviously that's a no-brainer, and you should take that on. But those companies that you want to be in, don't tell them no because you think that they sold you short. 10% is 10%. Okay, if you buy their hooks anyway and they're giving you 10% off, that amount of money is something that can go something else. Now, if you have 5 companies that are doing that same thing, because this is your first year, remind you, then that little bit will add up through a whole year. And then next year, whenever you redo the process, you can talk to that company and say, hey, look, this is what I've done. I believe that, we should try this. I believe that, I'm worth this amount or this amount of product. Okay. So starting out, don't be afraid to take that. 10% off is better than nothing, especially if you're going to buy the product anyway. Now, if you're somebody that's going to sponsor or take something on and promote something, whether you use it or not, and they're giving you the product, that's your agenda and what you decide to do. Let's see. So, trying to read here a couple questions. So yeah, somebody talks about how we are comparing this to bass and walleye and other industries. We can't. Catfishing is such a small industry that we cannot compare it to these other industries in the market. We're not there yet. We haven't showed, as anglers, showing our due diligence to companies as a whole. We haven't showed our due diligence to the major companies for them to be able to step in and say, hey, let's take this thing to the next level. So it always starts at the bottom. And, in my opinion, for things to change, we as the angler have to do our due diligence and clean our closets out before we can, talk to anybody about what is in their closet. Okay. So, anyway, all right. So anyway, that's probably going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and as always, you guys are asking a lot of questions, and I greatly appreciate all that. I hope that you guys are enjoying the information that I've been able to share in these Tackle Talk Tuesdays. I want to continue to do these, so make sure that you are asking those questions. If I get a bunch of questions on this, specific questions, I will go back and do touch more on it briefly next week. Like I've said before, as long as one person is watching and one person is learning, this is a success for me, and that's what it's all about, is making sure that you guys get as much information as we can. So make sure you're leaving those questions in the comments. Uh, Also, this weekend is the Catfish Conference, Louisville, Kentucky. Do not miss it. Make sure you're there. I'll be there. I'll be in the Monster Rod Holder booth, the Warrior Cat Tackle booth, and the Extreme Bait Tank booth. If you have any questions about those at all, hit me up. If I am at the Extreme booth and you have a question about a rod at Warrior Cat Tackle and you want me to answer it specifically for some reason, you feel more comfortable talking to me about it, come get me. Say, hey, I got a question. We'll go over there. We'll answer it. We'll make sure that you get answers that you want. That way you can feel comfortable. Everything we buy is expensive nowadays. It's an investment, and everybody that buys something should feel comfortable about it and feel good about it and enjoy it. If we got the stuff, we might as well enjoy it. If we can't enjoy it, there ain't no reason to having it, right? So make sure you hit me up at the Catfish Conference. Keep an eye on Facebook. We'll be doing some live shows, spotting while we're down there. We'll also be doing a live show on Friday for the Video Viewer Friday. Be coming live from the Catfish Conference itself, kind of before it opens. So I'm going to try to get in there and see if I can give you guys a sneak peek at what's going on. And yeah, I'm just glad you guys joined me. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. If you did enjoy it, make sure you're sharing it. Make sure you're subscribing if this is your first time. Give me that thumbs up if you do like it. Roger, DeMint, I appreciate you stepping up to the plate, even though I didn't give you a heads up. I kind of threw you right in there. But I thank you for doing what you did tonight. And hey, we will catch you next week. If I don't get a bunch of questions on this, we're probably going to jump right back into bait, being skipjack, and then been getting a lot of questions on Moon Eye. So be touching on some Moon Eye. I know a lot of people got questions about them, and got to introduce you guys to the Cadence line of gear. I know you guys have seen me using them before for skipjack and stuff, but once again, if you guys do not know what Cadence is about, they are huge promoters in getting kids fishing, and they do a lot for the sport, so of getting kids fishing. So look them up. We will be talking about that a lot whenever we get into catching skipjack and Moon Eye. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. I definitely enjoyed. God bless, and we'll catch you next week here on Tackle Talk Tuesday.